Hola, tasties and tastettes. Welcome to another episode of FTWGT Weekly. It's your boy Lenny, joined again by producer extraordinaire himself, Dante. How are we, Dante?
We are good.
Was that enough energy for you?
You hit the F and your voice cracked, so it showed effort.
There we go. If you liked the energy I gave to start this podcast, if you could just give us a little like on the bottom of the screen here. If you could comment on the pod, tell a friend, ask a friend. Sharing is caring. We would appreciate the help of the growth of this podcast. It's like a GoFundMe at the start here. We are accepting charity.
Can we open the actual GoFundMe?
I mean, I'm not opposed, but I think we have to think up the right tragedy
Yeah. Okay.
or struggle.
Okay.
We just write we're poor.
Yes.
It's not a lie.
We hate our lifestyle, and we want you to fund a new one for us.
Thank you. You know who else sounds like they hate their lifestyle? Well, listen to this quote first, Dante. First 8 months, I don't even know if I really love the kid. It's dope. I'm watching this thing morph, fascinated by it. Love taking care of it, but would I die if someone came in with a gun?
Is this somebody talking about their child?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, that is Bradley Cooper talking about his child.
Oh my God.
I appreciate the honesty of it, if I'm being honest.
It's a little too much honesty.
Like, people are out here just telling you got to lie about your kid, like how you feel about them. You know, he's like, I'm just going to come right at it. I like it. It's like kind of interesting. I'm into it. It's almost like he's viewing it like a filming project. It's like you're watching it morph into different things. You know, I'm fascinated by its like its trajectory and its growth. But I don't know if I'd really die for it.
Jesus Christ. Is that a direct quote?
Yes, that's a direct quote. I read the exact quote. I think there are more quotes. I think he called it more than once.
Jesus Christ.
I just thought it was a brutal, like, I don't know. How do you feel if you're the mother? Hey, honey, can you stop calling the kid it? It has a name.
Who is the mother? How much say does she have?
He could probably just be being like politically correct. He doesn't know what his child identifies as yet.
Then the term would be they.
Are you telling that kid what they would prefer to be called? Maybe it prefers to be called it.
But like they, them is like the universal applies to everybody.
Why can't it be they, them, it?
Because I think it at that point implies you might not even be a person.
I mean, there's people who think they're like cats, dogs, lemurs.
Yeah.
Two-toed sloths. Koala bears.
Yeah. I identify as a storm drain.
That wouldn't be bad. I identify as an orange traffic cone. I'd like you to see me coming.
That means two things.
Yeah, so that's where we're starting. Bradley Cooper, Father of the Year.
Interesting.
I love that. I thought another interesting thing that came out in the news this week. So last week we talked about the Willy Wonka experience. One little tidbit that we missed on this. Did you? I saw this right after we recorded. It really bummed me out that we didn't get to talk about this aspect of it. Have you seen The Unknown?
No.
They created like a fake like villain in this Willy Wonka world.
What?
Look up Willy Wonka The Unknown. I feel like that'll be enough or Willy Wonka Experience The Unknown, maybe. It was like this, like, so they basically had like a little like another character come out of the Willy Wonka thing. It was like wearing a mask, and it was supposed to be like the bad guy in it. It was like scaring little kids.
Oh, is it this?
Yes. Like the hits keep coming with this thing, dude.
What the fuck?
It might be the most brilliantly stupid thing that's ever been created.
I don't know if that makes this company more money or less.
I have to say that like I revel in their creativity and their willingness to go for it. Like partially it's a lack of creativity, but at the same time it lacks so much creativity that it became creative to me. And I just think I appreciate that they were like, yeah, we don't have much here, but let's go for it.
Like, is there a market now where people want to pay for a lackluster experience?
I think the $40 is the proper asking price to say you were part of this.
Yeah, fair.
Like, in 15 years, you have a story. And at the end of the day, if you just went to a regular Willy Wonka experience, I don't think you cared about it in 3 months. It's just another part of your trip. But this, you're going to be talking to people and being like, hey, do you remember when they did that really crazy Willy Wonka experience? And they had the crackhead Oompa Loompa. And they were giving us jelly beans and small pieces of chocolate. And then the unknown jumped out, you know? I think that there's something there. But what I was going to actually get to is, like, we talked about other things that could turn into theme parks, right? And how, like, Willy Wonka kind of, you're kind of surprised that, like, an amusement park hasn't jumped on the idea of a Willy Wonka playland.
Yeah.
So there's concept art right now for Shrek Swamp to be at new DreamWorks land at the Universal Orlando Resort.
Oh, really?
And, this comes a year after, I believe, we talked about
The
Airbnb Shrek Swamp. So the guests will be able to meet Shrek, Princess Fiona, and Donkey as they try swamp snacks like Shrexels, Far Far Waffle, and Frozen Ogre, which I assume is orange.
I thought it was yogurt. Frozen ogre? Yogurt?
Oh, yeah, okay. That makes more sense. You got one there.
Yeah.
I think you're right. You going?
No.
You wouldn't go to this?
I feel like those experiences at, like, these, like, theme parks are a little overpriced, and it just doesn't appeal to me that much.
I mean, I think it's included in your trip to the park. I just think they're overcrowded. Might be the better way to put it.
Overpriced, overcrowded.
Like, I heard the Star Wars like stuff is like the lines get crazy, and then like the Harry Potter one I've heard like is pretty nuts too.
Yeah. It's not like I live around there where it could be a day trip. You know what I mean? Like, I got to pay to fly out there. I got to pay to stay somewhere near there, and if I don't stay near there, I got to pay for a rental car to get there. Like,
you've never been to Disney?
no, sir.
When I was a wee lad, I went Halloween time. We went to the Halloween themed time of the year there, which is pretty cool. I think I was there Halloween night, and I stayed in the All-Star Resort, which is their sports resort.
Mm.
It was
Okay.
cool. It was cool. Yeah.
Sounds sick.
I really appreciated the Mickey Mouse waffles. That's the thing that stands out most about my trip.
Bro, if that's the case, I can make you Mickey Mouse waffles. How much you paying me?
Damn, take me to bed first.
No, that's in the morning after.
Oh, that's what I get it. Marry, fuck, kill these swamp stacks.
Oh, no.
Shrexels, Far Far Waffles, and Frozen Ogre.
Marrying the waffles, fucking the popsicles, and killing the yogurt.
Well, Shrexel, you think it's a popsicle? A popsicle? I thought it was a pretzel.
Oh. Yeah, I'll still fuck.
And there's holes. There's 3 of them. Unless there's
familiar.
sticks, and then you could shove it somewhere.
Are they salted? That sounds painful.
Something's got to be salty to finish anyways, right?
Jesus Christ. This is how we're going?
This is where we're going today.
All right.
This is the first 10 minutes of this podcast. A lot of innuendo in this one. Crossing all the boundaries. Start a GoFundMe for the failure of this pod. Stop us from getting canceled.
Oh, man. Technically, are we canceled because we haven't taken off yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good point. I think I'd go to this.
Okay.
I think I'd cosplay it.
Oh, you dressing up as Shrek?
No,
Painting yourself green?
The donkey.
I'm sorry, what?
I'd cosplay the donkey.
You gonna walk around on all fours?
Some people would be approving. Did you know that Mike Myers was the original Shrek?
Yeah.
Not Mike Myers. Sorry. Mike Myers was the original Shrek, but Chris Farley was the original Shrek.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He filmed, I guess I just saw this on a TikTok. David Spade was talking about how like there's audio of him as Shrek out there. He had finished a majority of the movie. He only had like a couple days of filming it left when he passed away.
Oh shit.
And they had asked his brother to finish up the role for him, a la Fast and the Furious, kind of, right?
Yeah.
But his brother was too torn up about it and like wasn't able to do it because I guess he could do the Chris Farley voice pretty well. And he just redid the whole thing with Mike Myers.
Holy shit.
So we could have lived in a world where like Mike Myers isn't Shrek.
Well,
we don't.
we don't. So yeah, that's not a reality.
It's sad. Okay, next up. The Nicole Kidman AMC trailer is gone.
No,
It's
what?
no more. Yeah. It's retired. Although it was before the movie that we saw this week, but it is retired.
Somehow heartbreak feels good in a place like this.
Yeah, and good one. It's going to be replaced with three new ads that are going to begin airing.
What kind of ads?
I mean, it's going to be more AMC ads. I don't know who's going to be in it or
Okay.
what. I think as a person who goes to the movies as much as I do, and I'm sure you feel kind of the same way, like
Yeah.
freshening up the experience isn't the worst thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. You know what's funny actually about that Nicole Kidman intro or whatever that they do?
What?
I forget what movie it was that I was looking for reviews on it, and one of the reviews was just a full quote of that intro.
Oh, Jesus.
I started reading and I was like, this has nothing to do with the movie. And by the time I was like halfway through, I was like, wait, I know what this is.
Yeah, I remember this. I've heard
Yeah.
this before. This started post-COVID, right? The Nicole Kidman one? Because it was like people were just getting back into the theater and they were like,
I'm not
there's
going to
a
pretend
place
to know.
where-
I'm not a good one with timelines.
I feel like it started then because it was like they were trying to tell people like movies can't be better than they are in the movie theater,
Makes sense.
which I agree with for sure. But I feel like that's when it started. Did it say?
I should say when. Fuck.
I don't know why they need to do like a.
Yeah, started screening in fall of 21.
I don't know why they need to do like a promotional thing for the theater you're already in.
To remind you why you need to come back there.
Yeah, like don't go to Showcase.
No, really.
They don't have the Nicole Kidman thing. I think people who go to Showcase cinemas are stupid.
Yeah, I mean, you get a whole lot more legroom.
What is the Showcase? We get the best legroom there is, stop that.
But that's not everybody. Not everybody gets our seats.
I don't know, like we sit front row in those IMAX ones too, and like that's a great seat.
Yeah.
What do does Showcase I don't think Showcase has like a subscription thing like AMC, right? They use like Movie Pass.
They do have a subscription thing. It's just not as good.
Can you get me the facts on what theirs includes?
It's $20 a month, 2 movies a month.
That sucks.
Yeah. If I remember correctly. I'm going to double check, but
And
I
we
think
get-
that's what it was.
We pay 23 and get 12 movies a month if we wanted it.
Yeah. Up to 3 a week. Oh, hold on. They changed it. There's multiple now. Oh, you can do multiple people. That's kind of
AMC
cool.
lets you do couples, but it does kind of rate.
Okay, so I can do for a single person up to 5 movies a month, including premiere movies like IMAX and so on, at $32.95 a month.
That's not good enough.
Nah.
Yeah, I think you're dumb if you do this. I think, but I mean, obviously, like most people aren't seeing more than 2 movies a month, anyways, and I get that. So if you were with a date and you went to 2 movies a month, what's the price? You have it set already.
Yeah.
I was asking you.
$31 a month.
I mean,
Which at that point, how much are you really saving? Because like
50%.
this is for the premiere side, right? So like if I'm doing IMAX,
That's 50% savings. You
Yeah.
buy 4 tickets in a month, that's for IMAX.
Because those are like what, like
$80.
16 or 17?
Yeah, I think on a premiere night, like I think on Friday nights, they're charging you close to $20 a ticket.
Oh, really? Okay. So Showcase is just pricey overall.
I'm surprised they don't show you savings on there somewhere.
Yeah, like sell it to me.
Yeah. Like I think like a Showcase IMAX ticket is like probably like 17, 18, 19, somewhere in there.
It might take me a little longer to find this because it's popping ads to me and shit.
Yeah, I gotta let you know what's up.
Yeah. Let's say I went to this.
I think like around it kind of depends on your proximity, because I do understand if somebody that doesn't want to drive to South Bay to see like a movie like Dune, and you have to go all the way to like you'd rather just go to Randolph and spend the money. I kind of get that.
Yeah. Oh, today's Tuesday. It was the wrong day to check
Because it's got matinees.
Yeah. Well, no, I looked at 10 p.m. It's showing me I could do 10 p.m. IMAX 1075.
That's not bad. That's a good price.
Like, I don't remember it being that cheap.
No, that's actually.
Is it because it's Tuesday?
Maybe they remember when they were rumoring to like switch like AMC to doing the things where like certain seats cost certain prices?
Oh no, I don't remember that.
That was like a year ago. There was this idea that they were going to change the theaters to doing like premiere seating in a theater, which they thought the middle seats were the premiere seating, and I was laughing at them because I was like, you can charge as much as you want for those seats. I'll never sit there.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, hold on. Let me see the most expensive ticket because they do include Lux.
But switch to Friday.
Oh, yeah. Fuck, I clicked the wrong thing. This site sucks.
Yeah, that's also weird. It's like so clunky. I think their app is clunky too.
Is it?
Yeah.
Select showtime Friday, 9:30. Let's see. Guest, whatever seat. I don't care. $16.
So $17.75 after tax. 4 of those tickets. You're saving what, like $30, $20?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's worth it. That's your popcorn for free for at least one of them. If you are going to go to 2 movies a month, that's worth it. It still pales in comparison to like the AMC thing.
Yeah.
Which like I could not go to a movie again.
It is cool that there's like tiers to it though, so you can scale the pricing to what appeals to you. Because like realistically, we don't watch 3 movies a week.
There have been times where I've used all 3 of my reservations.
Yeah, but not in a whole month. You haven't done 12 in a month.
No, there's not. You'd have to have a movie that you loved so much you want to see more than once to really justify that. Yes, with the 12 movies in a month, because like the reality is what you're getting like 3 to 4 a month that are like, hey, that's kind of interesting and I don't have to pay for it, so I'm going to go.
Yeah,
you know.
It's also A-list is cheaper in other parts of the country too.
Is it?
Yeah, like we pay more because we're in Massachusetts.
So, like, where does it give you those pricing? Like, can I find out how much it would cost if I was in, like, Oklahoma?
I'm trying to find it.
Or is it just geocode you?
No, because you choose the subscription, and it shows, like, what states are included.
Do you know anything about The Chosen? You see that there?
No.
So it's like an episode thing that they've been doing for, like, a couple months now. Well, something about Jesus.
You go to the theater to watch 2 episodes of a show?
Yeah.
I mean, 2.5 hours for 2 episodes. I mean, that is a movie run.
They've been doing, like, I just notice it every week when I look, and I'm like, I don't understand what this is.
Huh. Their site isn't the simplest to navigate either. The app is easier.
The app's much better.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it just doesn't tell you there.
Like, it tells me it, but then I have to, like, do join now and sign in and all this shit. It won't give me the price, yeah.
It's not worthwhile.
Yeah.
What's the you enjoy a big screen movie ticket for 99 cents?
I think this is a sign-on promo.
Huh?
Yeah, get your first month of A-list for just 99 cents.
I mean, that's...
Trying to cancel and re-sign up?
I ordered food today and I tried getting like a 20% off deal that they offer for first time orders, but because all those websites use the same like engine for like their menus and like online ordering. It said I already had an account, and I was like, okay, I'll use my Gmail account. I tried that, and it was like, we already have your phone number. I was like, you sons of bitches, you got me every way.
We know you.
You got me coming and going. No 20% off for me.
No, man.
It's like, it should be like from ordering from each in particular or like restaurant.
Yeah. Oh, so you have to select your theater. So I don't know which ones are cheaper. It's not easy.
No, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Do you care about a Baywatch reboot?
Nah.
Me neither. Although, throw Sydney Sweeney in that bitch, and I might sign up.
Oh, yeah. All right. I found the pricing. Okay. So our subscription, because we're in Mass, is $25 a month, but it covers the whole country. You can save $2 a month if you're not in California, Connecticut, Mass, Jersey, or New York. And then they have as low as $20 a month in 34 states.
All right, so we're just talking like a $4 difference, though.
It's $5.
Thanks. Not like anything crazy, though.
I mean, that's 20%.
Yeah, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, like we've already, like I was going to say earlier, like the reality is like I could not go to a movie for a year and I'm still up on my savings with my membership.
Yeah. Like we're paying $300 a year.
Can you do the math? Can you do math real quick?
Yeah, what you need?
So what's what's 25 times 12?
300.
All right. And if I saw how many movies last year? 39?
Yep.
And a regular price for a ticket?
You're already over.
Yeah, I just want to know. 39 times like say 16, right?
Let's say 15 for easy math.
585. So I saved $200 and almost $300 last year.
Yeah.
Not to mention like some of the free popcorn and like shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I forgot. Yeah, we also get the large popcorn at the price of regular, so we're saving a couple bucks there too.
Yeah, and me and you both do the things where we sometimes on weeks we don't go to movies, just pick a ticket and we get the credit for buying the ticket too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. There's the weeks I don't have anything really going on and I think I might go see a movie, I just don't cancel anymore.
Yeah, exactly, because I still get the rewards for it.
Yeah. So you don't care about Baywatch. Were you a fan of Final Destination?
Yeah.
They have the new Final Destination movie, like the script's being finalized, and it's going to drop in 2025, they said. Bad Boys 4 just finished filming.
Okay.
Thought that was kind of interesting.
Final Destination was my first 3D movie.
Maybe we've talked about that before.
Possibly.
Was it the third movie? Was it Final Destination 3D, or was it like wasn't there one that was just Final Destination?
So one of the ones that came out probably around like 2010.
I want to say it was just like Final Destination. Die. I'm dying. Dying. Don't smoke, kids.
Don't die.
Yeah, there we go. Words to live by.
Yeah. Don't smoke, don't die.
I think if you had just got IMDb, it probably would have showed you.
Yeah. I think it was the Final Destination, the fourth one.
And then there was another one after that, even though they gave it definitive.
Final Destination 5.
Yeah. They gave a definitive the Final Destination, and we're like,
no, hold on. Yeah. we take that back.
What if there was one more? And then another.
Yeah. They should name the sixth one the actual Final Destination and then still come out with another one.
The final destination. Finally, a destination. We know where we're going with this one.
And the poster art is just a GPS saying you have arrived.
That'd be kind of dope, actually. Or like a U-turn sign.
Yeah. Oh, run it back.
Yeah, we're going back to go forward. Yeah. Yeah. I wonder, do they have any page for this Final Destination, the new one yet?
No. Or not on this anyways.
I'm just interested to know. I'd really like them to bring back Devon Sawa or Ali Lauder.
Final Destination 6.
Because I don't
know details yet.
All right, because I don't want to see. What's the trivia? I don't want to see a new cast again. I think that's kind of like them losing Devon Sawa and then Ali Lauder, I think, is where it started to just kind of turn into like, I don't know, like there was no attachment to it.
No fun trivia.
You're more attached to death than you are to like the characters that are involved.
Yeah, it's like any other these style of movies. It's the kills that make it fun.
Yeah, but I think that like part of the first and the second one is like you should care about who survives it. You know, you should want to see the main character be somebody that you want to see succeed, and like because that's what made Halloween is great because you want to see Laurie Strode make it through, right, while also seeing great deaths and like build up to deaths in it. The same as I can't remember the girl in Nightmare.
I only watched
Nancy.
Maybe actually, I think you're right.
Nancy.
Yeah, no, I think you got that.
Yeah. When she comes back in Dream Chasers, did you see that one?
No.
So she comes
Is that
back,
like a spinoff?
It's in like the fourth one. She comes back in is working at like a mental institution and and like Freddy's like going after the kids in the like the troubled youth center or whatever.
Yeah.
And they can go into the dream, like into each other's dreams.
Oh shit! Okay.
And fight them.
It's funny. You were right about Nancy, but when I pulled it up, I was like, "Why does that not look like her?" I'm forgetting the movies from the fucking 80s.
Yeah, it doesn't look like her at all anymore.
No,
she's kind of a baddie back then. Do you have a young picture?
Let's see.
Because I thought she was like blonde and.
Yeah.
Yep, that's her, yeah. Yeah, like moderate, maybe not baddie. That's not bad.
Yeah.
She looks like Felicity.
Not baddie, but...
Do you care about any of these 4 TV shows that are releasing in June?
Hit me.
The Bear season 3.
I actually watched season 1. It's a good show. I just didn't keep going.
It's one I really do want to watch. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's one I'll just sit down and binge like all 2 seasons in a day.
It is good, though.
The Boys season 4.
I mean, the first season was like fun, but I didn't really care beyond that.
Star Wars The Acolyte.
Nope.
Didn't think so. House of Dragon season 2.
Nope.
Did you thrown it up at all? Were you throwing?
I never watched anything. I tried, and it's just one of those things where first episode didn't grasp me. I didn't care to power through.
I've long said, like, I watched the first season of that show and hated it and didn't watch it for like 9 years, and then watched seasons 2 through 8 all in like a week, basically.
I'm sure it's a great show. It's just it's a lot of time to invest too.
It's pretty fucking fantastic, if I'm being honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, I think, and I'll get into it later in the taste test, but I think The Walking Dead, it's kind of similar that like, as the shows increase and they get to a certain status, the budget gets to increase with it. And like Game of Thrones, like the budget for the last season was insane.
Well, Walking Dead's another one too, where it's like, I didn't catch any of it from the beginning, so it's like it's so much to it now to try and catch up on that
and The Walking Dead's way more of a grind than Game of Thrones. Don't get me wrong. Like, I totally understand somebody not like being like, hey, I never was into The Walking Dead, and being like, I'm gonna watch 11 seasons of a show. I'm gonna watch 6 seasons of a spin-off series, another 2 seasons of this other spin-off series. Oh, and then there's 3 more spin-off series on top of that. That would take a real fucking psycho to watch all of that stuff.
Oh. Is there one in the room?
No comment. But we've made you wait long enough, I suppose, to get to the real meat and potatoes of this episode.
The moment you guys all clicked in for.
Yeah. I think I owe an apology.
Yeah?
Let's start from the beginning on this one, shall we?
Okay.
I have, for a while now, been like, anytime that Dunes come up, been like, I don't give a fuck about it. It's going to be great, but I don't care. Right? I've said that quite a bit on here. I believe if you go back to the first episode of the year in the 2024 movie preview, I was just like, whatever.
I'm pretty sure your quote was somewhere along the lines of, "I'm sure it's gonna be great, but who cares?"
Yeah, that sounds right. I got news for you guys. I care. I fucking care.
I found out who cares.
Hey, hands up. Who cares me? Yeah, this guy. I fucking care. Oh my God, dude. Like, all right. So last week on Wednesday, I got home from work and I sat down and I was like, it's time. It's time to see what this Dune thing's all about. And I watched, this is, I obviously like taste test, this small mini prequel here. I watched Dune, the first one, and was enthralled.
I still need to rewatch the first one. I've watched the first one, but I've told you before, and I don't know if I've said it on here, but I just didn't fully pay attention throughout it. Like, it was something I put on at home when it first came on streaming, and it just didn't grasp my attention enough. So then before we went back to watch part 2, I watched the last 40 minutes of it and probably about 30 minutes of recap videos.
I've long said that, like, when I watch movies at home, I struggle to get as, like, immersed as I do in the movie theater. And that's why I enjoy still going to the movie theaters and, like, kind of shutting off all my surrounding, like, distractions and just being able to, like, watch a movie.
Yeah.
And it's still the way I get the most out of a movie. But, man, 2 hours and 40 minutes of that movie, I barely picked up my phone, dude. And, like, the couple times I did pick up my phone, I think I rewound like the 30 seconds back real quick to
make sure you caught it all.
Yeah, like it wasn't like, it's interesting because it's not a super action heavy movie, the first one. It's more, I thought the world was so immersive. I thought they did such a good job of making a world that was visually astounding and stimulating and like drew you in, and they had these characters and like these arcs that like you were invested in seeing like what the characters were doing and like what their roles were going to be.
It's a very complex story, and I think that's part of the problem with my first watch, where if I wasn't fully paying attention, there's a lot I'm going to miss and I'm not going to know what's going on.
Yeah, the dialogue is a bit confusing, I think, in some ways, but like at the same time, I left feeling like I understood everything that I needed to understand. And like from an outside perspective, I've said this to you, like you think that like even like a character like Zendaya's character is going to be like heavily involved, and like they did a great job of like she's barely in the first one, and you're still like, I can't wait to see like what her role is in the second movie. Every character like super interested, well-rounded. There's not like you said you watched the last 40 minutes, and I think that last 40 minutes is like the peak of the movie, rightfully so, right? Like the third.
Well, yeah, because like the recap videos brought a lot of like the context for like the build up to the last 40, and then I just wanted to see the actual play out of the last 40 because I knew part 2 rolls right off from that.
Yeah, like the attack and then the them escaping and all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Literally, there was only one thing, and it was such a minor nitpick that I didn't like in the first one, and it was mostly just I don't like the Dune suits, like the protective armor. I just didn't like.
Oh, you're talking about that, like the battle suits they came down with.
Yeah, like I didn't like the visual aesthetic of like some of those fights, where it's like you're hitting somebody and it's like a glitchy like blue or something like that.
Oh, from the shield. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that personally. Like that was my only minor nitpick in a movie that, again, it like the visuals in it, the soundtrack, all of this stuff just drew me into such a level. Like I don't think I've watched a movie in a very long time that the world building is as strong as this is. Like I think that was my biggest takeaway is like, it's Star Wars, I believe, is like loosely based on the original source material of Dune.
Oh, really?
But I think for a lot of people, and we come on here as like very novice Star Wars fans, and I would venture to say we're not fans. You know,
call me that.
Yeah. But it just felt like I was like, dude, like this is world building the level of Star Wars, and at the same time, to me, it was storytelling in a way to the level of like the Lord of the Rings franchise, where like Fellowship of the Ring to me isn't the most exciting movie in the world, but you have to learn the lore and kind of learn the characters, and it builds up to some better stuff towards the end of it. But then like the second movie is where they really fucking hit you with like a hammer, and you're like, oh, like the Battle of Helm's Deep or whatever. I'm in like this fucking crazy fight that goes on forever and is awesome. And like getting into the second movie, yeah, to your point, it like picks up right where the first one takes off, and it just hits the ground running.
Yeah.
It's 2 hours and 30 minutes, 35 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like perfectly paced, I think.
Or I think this one was 2 hours and 45.
And the first one was 35?
35, yeah.
So I felt like the pacing on this movie was just like perfect. There was never a time where I felt this urge to be like, how much longer is left. I do think I looked because I wanted to know that how much of the story I was getting. It wasn't because I wanted it to be over. I was like, I kind of want this to keep going. How much longer do I have left to like live in this?
Yeah.
Right. And it was
because I definitely got to a point where I looked and I was like, oh fuck, like we only got like 20 minutes left and it's just like heating up. They're gonna leave us on a cliffhanger.
I looked at about the hour mark and I was like, okay, great. Like, because they hadn't really started like the big battle stuff like yet or anything. 3, 2, 1. I mean, and before we get into spoilers, we've said this a few times, and we're very fortunate right now because we're only like 3 months removed from Godzilla -1.
Yeah.
And I think we're still living in this world where it's like, man, if we can go every 3 or 4 months in getting a movie that is like, that's
really
why
delivers. Yeah.
That's why you go to the movies still, because there's still stuff like this out there. I think we're in a good spot for the movie theaters, and we'll get into how much money this has made and all that stuff, right? But
yeah,
there's one thing, it's like, don't wait for something like this to watch on your TV at home.
Like, unless you have a crazy setup at home, which most people don't.
Yeah,
you need to watch this.
And I'll say, like, I didn't. The viewing experience for me at home with just my my OLED, my Sonos Beam and a subwoofer, like, was great. Don't get me wrong. Like, I still really enjoyed it, but I think the second movie, the score
is fucking amazing.
Yeah, it just adds such a level to it. The feeling of like the speakers and everything like that draw you so far into this stuff. And then the sound and the visuals, I just think it's something that like you are doing yourself a disservice if you consider yourself a movie fan to not be going to the movies to see something like this. And I think that shows through with the money it's going to make, and we really are on this stretch because I wasn't an Oppenheimer guy, right? I haven't seen it, but like we had a movie like that I think you are on the stretch of every like 3 to 4 months dropping in a movie that delivers on what movie theater experiences always were meant to be. And yeah, I just hope we keep getting that. And I think there are some other hidden gems throughout the year that can deliver that. And there's different ways to deliver it, right? Like a movie like Twisters could deliver just on the blockbuster aspect of it, not an acting bonanza, not like this incredible script. It's not a perfect movie, not going to be a perfect movie like Dune 2 is, but it delivers on aspects that are why you should go to the movies. But this hits every single note the same way that Godzilla -1 did to me. Like, you feel things, you care about the characters, the acting performances are great. There's side characters that you have there, they have depth and you're interested in, and it delivers on like these great action sequences. And every level of this film I think delivers.
And I mean, on here we talk a lot about CGI too. Like this, like Godzilla -1, has CGI that's not offensive.
Well, and I think we also talk on here about using real environments.
Yeah.
And the fact that they made a point to not film this shit in front of green screens. That's why the first one is as immersive as it is. And that's why this one continues that immersion level. Because it's not supposed to be in Rio de Janeiro, but it's really on a fake bridge with a blue screen behind it.
Yeah.
They like that's why this movie delivers at the level that it does, is because you are in real environments and you are really seeing people act out. Like the sand walk is a real fucking thing. Like it's not like him faking like he's walking through sand and then they put it in after the fact, you know?
Yeah.
Like that stuff all translates to a movie that draws you into this level. And I stand by the fact that I've said a couple times on here, I would love to see the first and the second one back to back in the movie theater.
Yeah.
I would love that 5 hours. I think that would be like the way that it picks up right where the last one lets off. Like I think it would be a great transition, you know? So getting into like some of the specifics, do you want to do the financials first before we do any more on the movie?
Yeah, we can get into that.
It's made a lot of money. I know that.
Yeah, no. So it had a pretty nasty opening weekend. I think I saw 85 mil for the opening weekend.
Yep.
This film did 12 mil on its opening day, which there's a stat here on a Rotten Tomatoes article where they said only two films have ever opened at 10 million on opening day and failed to reach 200 mil.
And did they say the movies?
One being Black Widow and the other being Five Nights at Freddy's.
Interesting. That's not two I would have. I think Black Widow makes sense.
Yeah.
Five Nights is a little weird, but I get it. The kid's money.
Yeah. What was the other thing? Oh, yeah. So worldwide, they're already at 190 million, which means they already cleared their budget.
Mm-hmm.
So,
they haven't cleared the budget of Joker 2 yet, though. Go figure.
Yeah, right. And this is going to make way more money than that. I don't know what the drop-off's going to be, but I can't imagine it's going to be too steep of a drop-off, to be honest.
No, I think that this
is probably going to have a long runtime.
Because you're going to have multiple viewings for people. I might see it again.
I honestly want to see it again.
I think
I want to go back and kind of try and pick up on shit I might have missed.
Yeah, I think I do want to go maybe see the IMAX experience.
Yeah,
you know,
because this is one of those movies that was filmed for IMAX.
You know, one other interesting tidbit about the money.
What?
So over 20% of the domestic opening weekend for the gross of June 2 was for IMAX sales.
Holy shit! Okay.
Premium screen sales overall was almost 50% of it.
That's really good.
So because like even more to the fact of it being a movie theater movie, people are paying 70% of people basically paid for this the advanced experience, right? Like
50%.
No. So 20% were IMAX and 50% were, do you think they lumped in premium scale screens and
premium screen is including IMAX, Dolby?
Okay. So half the customers have gone out of their way to see it on a laser projector, Dolby Vision, IMAX screen.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I imagine seeing this the first time in you know, for us locally in Braintree.
No.
Right? Like that would be, I've thought about that. I was like, dude, like,
well, for one, the audio in that theater is not good at all.
That's what I mean. Like, dude, you wouldn't be able to feel any of what you're supposed to feel.
No.
Like, that is the most underrated aspect of the movies because you think about what you hear and what you see, but to me, it's so much more about what you feel. Like
people underestimate like the immersion you get from having like a good like subwoofer, like feeling the rumble when you're watching something intense happening on the screen.
I'm not talking IMAX 4D. I didn't need them blowing sand in my face to be like, I'm here in this movie. No, it's like, it's the tension building in the theater because of like the low rumble of a subwoofer as something like huge happens, you know?
Would you be open to 4D experience where you have sand in your face?
No, because I wouldn't be able to see onto it.
You're walking out of the theater, dumping sand out of your shoe.
Speaking of which, do you know that so the scene where he rides the worm,
the sandworm,
sandworm, they filmed that practically.
So what was he actually riding on?
I don't know what they had him ride, but he did the riding, and he was riding through sand like that.
They must have had him on like a flatbed of like a truck and trailer or something like that.
Yeah, maybe. I'd be.
There has to be something that gives scale to like the sand around it and everything.
I would definitely be interested in seeing like how it was made.
Yeah,
for that. Uh, I thought that was pretty interesting. The acting performances. Let's run through a couple of these. But we talked about Chalamet last week. Chalamet. How did D say it?
Timothy Chalamet.
But what was D calling him?
Shamalam or something.
Yeah. Something ridiculous. Yeah, this guy has won me over big time.
Yeah.
He's having a great year for me.
Yeah.
Wonka was enjoyable enough, and then like seeing these two movies, and his character.
Wonka doesn't get to be what it is without him.
No, and there are times where I hear his voice in this, and he's being so much more of an authoritative, like assertive speaker, and I still hear a little bit of like the good guy Wonka come through, and I'm like, all right, But it is crazy to watch the first movie and see who he is in the first like 30, 40 minutes of that movie, and see him in the scene where he's in front of all of the Fremens and like telling them about their futures and their dreams and like being like, I'm the fucking leader now.
Like that was a huge flip for the character. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and his presentation of it was perfect.
It was crazy watching the buildup of like the humility being stripped away. And finally he's like, no, I got to take charge and do something or we're not going to make it through this.
Yeah. And in the sacrifice, because I do think you feel the sacrifice come through, and like him and Zendaya, getting into her a little bit, like her not being in the first that much, her character still feels so well developed throughout the whole second movie that you feel for her like so much, as like you fall in love with their relationship, but then you also know the whole time that like it's gonna go the other way.
Yeah.
And the way it goes the other way, like, I'll love you till my last dying breath, and then literally a sentence later being like, I'll take your daughter's hand in marriage.
Yeah.
Is crazy. And your heart breaks for her, but you're at the same time like, fuck yeah for him, right? Like for Paul. I don't like that. I don't like that his name's Paul.
Yeah, Paul's not. You got to say the whole name if you really want to.
Paul's not that guy.
Paul Atreides.
Yeah, what's his Fremen name?
Oh, Osul, I think.
Osul, and then what do they call him?
Wow, fuck. You can't put me on the spot with the name.
Chop.
All right.
What's Paul's? What do they call him? Fuck.
Maudib. Yeah, Maudib.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Like that's a good one. He also is the
Mob Deep.
Yeah. He's also the little sand gopher.
Oh, that was her name, right?
No, that's him.
Oh yeah.
They asked what his war name is.
Oh yeah, that's that was their language for kangaroo rat.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Sand gopher.
Sand gopher, same thing, right?
Austin Butler, as his cousin, right? The black and white world. Him with the gimp.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Him with the little gimp guy. Him just slicing women up for no reason and being like, feed him to my slaves, basically my sex slaves.
Yeah.
They said that he improvised the kiss that he get. Remember, he like kisses Stellan Skarsgård like on the lips.
Oh yeah,
that's not part of that wasn't part of like the script or anything. He just did that like improvised during the scene.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it definitely adds to like the way that character in that world's supposed to weird you out.
There's definitely like I forget. His performance is reminiscent of other performances. I don't know if it's like a way better version of Jared Leto's Joker. Maybe like is what I get from it. But like there's just like creepy undertones and everything that he gives off that are like just really well done. And I think that because of he's so unlikable and he owns the part so well that you are looking forward to it. And I thought we weren't going to get it in this movie. The show off between Azul and him. You know, I didn't want to call him Paul again.
I think it was Osul.
Also,
You say Azul, that's just blue in Spanish.
it's like his balls now that he doesn't have a girlfriend anymore.
Oh, damn.
Hit him hard. What is the guy hit? Oh my God, what's his name? The Fremen guy who's like his biggest supporter, his hype man.
Oh, fuck. His picture's right here and I can't find his name. Sorry. No. Stilgar.
No,
No?
what's his name in real life? Actually, yeah.
Oh, Javier Bardem.
Yeah, that's who it is. I was like, I know his name in real life. He's a very good fucking actor. One of the dopest hype men ever.
Yeah.
Just riding for his guy the whole time. Like, no, you are him. You keep saying you're not him, but I know you're him.
No, you're the fucking guy, man.
And every single time like something happens, he's just whispering to his friends, like, you see that? You see that? Prophecy.
Yeah.
Prophecy.
Told you. Messiah, bro.
He's that dude. He's saving us from the sand. We're gonna have water soon.
What are they calling him? Lisangaib.
Yeah. The mother. How do you feel about her? Is she the real villain?
You think so? I think she put herself in a position to be necessarily evil.
Or is the baby the villain?
Oh, the baby?
Because shit really takes a turn.
When the baby starts talking to her?
Yeah. Like, I think that that's one of the more intriguing parts as the story continues, is that baby being born.
So ultimately, the baby's just talking to her. She's making the decisions.
Yes, but the baby is the one, like, feeding her, like...
Well, because I think the baby has the same gift she does where it can see the future. So it's
Yeah.
like, yo, shit's got to happen.
Mm-hmm. But it's, like, pushing her in the direction of, like, yeah, like, I think that... I don't know, but, like, in every good bad guy, right? Like, Killmonger, right?
Yeah.
You can identify with the reasons that Killmonger is...
That's why I said necessary evil.
Yeah, like, but it goes back to my point, is she the real bad guy? Because just because, like,
I think
her reasons might be in some ways, like, identifiable and you can understand them, doesn't mean that they're not, like, does she really care about Paul?
What I'm getting at, though, is I think the beauty of the story of this movie is there is no one definite bad guy.
I don't know. Stellan Skarsgård seems like a pretty bad guy. Christopher Walken,
Bad guy.
seems like a bad guy.
The mom, bad guy.
No, but then you're
bad
telling
person.
me she's not, kind of.
They all have their driving reasons, right? I guess, yeah, you're right. What's his name? Stellan or whatever. The Harkonnen.
Yeah.
Like, he's definitely just in it for power. Like, he's probably just like the purest, like, bad guy. But I say none of them are really doing good things.
Paul is.
He was trying very hard to be the good guy for the longest time, and then finally was like, "Oh shit, I see the light. Yep, gotta fuck shit up."
I think the only way you really say that he's the bad guy is towards, and what's Zendaya's real name? I want to stop calling her
Shani.
Shani. Okay, like, I think that Shani, her, like, aside from the way she ends up getting treated through this and is like kind of a necessary sacrifice to his advance into this, like, next level of his character.
I thought it was wild, that conversation with him and his mother when they're talking about how, like, she's gonna be pissed at him. He's like, "I've seen the future. She'll get over it."
Yeah. When?
Yeah. It's like, damn, savage.
When you're married to somebody else, dude, like,
she'll get over it.
And married to another beautiful woman.
Yeah.
You know, I'm failing on names right now. Help me.
Florence Pugh.
Yeah, Florence. Who, like, she's kind of the Zendaya of this movie.
Yeah, where she's not in it that much.
Yeah,
like, you don't feel like we're hinting to getting more of her in the next movie.
You know that you're gonna get more, like, her next part of her character in the next movie? And is she the good version of what the mom could be? Right?
Possibly.
Like the kind of the guiding light to help him not go down this like terrible path. I mean, it kind of writes itself that like everybody's kind of pointed out the similarities between like Anakin Skywalker and Paul.
I'm glad, because I think that was one of the first things I said coming out of here was I was like, oh, Anakin. Who's Anakin?
But it makes
Thought it
sense
was
when
Luke.
you're like the characters are like Star Wars was loosely based on Dune. That would kind of make
And
sense.
I didn't know that, but it makes sense.
In some ways, right? Is that like you kind of see him the dark side moment in the way he treats Shawnee. In that being kind of like Natalie Portman's character from the prequel trilogies, and the pure like you as the audience wanting him to make the decision. I think again like it's the right decision for the masses, right? But selfishly, you want him to be able to have both, right? Be able to maintain himself like he said he was going to, but he always knew for me to make the decision that I have to make, there was going to be this sacrifice.
I think he was trying to hold out and find another way, but then finally gets to the point where he's like, fuck, like there really is no other way.
Well, I can't let all these people die either,
Yeah.
Like if there's a way that I can stop it, I can't let all of these people die. You know who disappointed me a bit in this is Dave Bautista.
He disappointed you?
Yeah, I think through both movies, his dialogue still just feels like Drax.
He's always playing goofy character. He's literally always Drax.
Like it just feels like Drax is coming through, even in this role where he's not supposed to be as comedic, but you're just waiting for the joke to come.
He's just always goofy. Like you can't take him seriously. He plays the same character.
In his dialogue, like the way he yells and stuff like that is just like, yeah, this is just Drax again, dude. I know you said you don't want to do it anymore, but like this is kind of who you are. And he's not like, he gets killed like a bitch.
Yeah.
Knife to the fucking throat, and it took 2 seconds. Like 2 seconds, right?
I think that's part of it, though, is like he was supposed to be a joke.
But I think they wanted you to believe that he was going to be a tough guy, and then you just see him being like an idiot who can't get it right, and his like little brother has to come along who's like way more vicious. And
someday that sounds like every other role he's ever played.
Yeah. There's just like this speaks to how great this movie is. Like there's so much shit you can talk about, and it's a 2 hour and 40-minute movie. So like we can't do the whole thing, or we'll be here for years. And I do want to see it again. The only other scene I really wanted to point out that I love is like I love in action movies like great hand-to-hand one-on-one fights. I think that it's always like hand-to-hand combat and fight in action movies is there's just not, when they're done well, you're not hiding things. You're not doing quick camera cuts to like hide the hits or anything. And that last fight between Austin Butler and Timothée Chalamet is like the perfect example of that, where it's like so perfectly like choreographed.
Yeah.
In the way like everything looks so clean and it looks so real, and there's real stakes at hand with it, and they make you believe that he can lose too. And when you really think about it, they did that with like, they make Austin Butler's character. I was worried when he does the scene with the three last what do they call it? Atreides?
Oh, House of Atreides, yeah.
Yeah, the last three Atreides, right? When they like drug up two of them, and like I'm glad that they didn't with the third one, because that's what makes him feel a little bit more credible, is that he shuts off the shields and like
that fight was great too.
Yeah, has like a real fight with a guy who's a formidable opponent, but at the same time has been like locked away for a little bit and like maybe isn't 100%, but like he has a real fight. But I was worried that like that almost weakens him a little bit going into this fight with Paul, and It didn't. Like, I think that last fight was perfect, right? And he gets the upper hand for 70% of it, and again, it almost takes like I wish that they showed you a little bit more of how Paul like stabs him.
He had the knife. Oh, you just mean like filmed more of it.
Yeah, because it is weird because like right before that they show the knife about to go into Paul.
There was another knife that was in his torso. Remember, he stabbed him before that, and he left it in.
And he pulled that.
He
out.
pulled that knife,
but they
and
don't.
stabbed him with it.
I guess that's what I mean. Is that like, I wish you could have seen that rather than be left to like understand it.
And I think the point of not showing it was they wanted to give you that feeling that, oh shit, he's been beaten.
Well, I think it also goes back to foreshadowing. When he's training with Josh Brolin's character in the beginning of the first movie on how to fight.
Yeah.
He thinks he beats Josh Brolin because of a knife. He gets a knife to his throat, and Josh Brolin looks down and he's like, he's like, I would have killed you. Like he had a knife to his side.
Yeah.
As well. And I think it was a little bit of that like misdirection where you're so focused on what you're trying to do to me that you missed the angle where I actually have you. And I think that was what it was kind of trying to tie in a little bit too, from the first movie at least. Yeah, just a perfect. And like for the final, it's kind of that final boss stage. I think it's the right amount of closure on the first 2 chapters of these movies. And then setting you up with just like a 5-minute setup for the third movie where it's like, hey, they're not going to accept you as the leader of all of the clans. And it's like, well, I guess I have another war to fight then. And it's just off to it, right?
Yeah.
And then it sucks when this stuff happens. And I'm sure this is how people felt at the end of Dune 1. And this is where I'm glad that I didn't watch it this whole time. So I was able to just watch both of these movies one day after another. Because we're now, 2 or 3 years away from Dune Messiah, probably.
Yeah.
Like, we got a long time to go. Like, I don't think it's something they're actively filming yet. Yeah, if you want to look it up real quick and let me know. But I don't think it's something they're actively filming yet. 2028.
Yeah, at the earliest.
So, yeah, we're 4 years away from this.
But it also continues to say it seems more likely that it'll be closer to 2030.
That's crazy.
Which, holy fuck, that just sounds so far in the future, and that's only 6 years away.
I don't man, I don't want to wait that long. And I don't know how the story goes from here. Like, I don't know if there's a gap or if it's the same thing as this one where it just takes off where this one left off, you know?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the books are super dense too. And Dennis Villanueva, the gentleman who made this, he has said, he has some quotes about like his ideology for writing the first 2 and like some things that he has for the third one. I don't remember the quotes exactly, but like, you know, that like I think he stayed a little bit truer to the source material in the first 2 and that he may
take some liberties on the third one.
On the third one, yeah. Because I've read like this is the final chapter for maybe like Paul, and then like because there's multiple books after this too. But I think his plan is to make this movie and maybe one more, and then hand off or like maybe this was a rumor I read that he would then hand off to somebody else for the rest of the movies after that.
And that's where it may get watered down, right? Like, I feel like it'll be great throughout the third movie, but I think they should just close it there.
I think it's okay to give yourself like a great trilogy and then see if somebody else can do something with it. If you have enough source material out there. And yeah, like, dude, you can't hit 100% every single time you go there with something. And I think it'd be okay if you finish up this main story successfully and like maybe put together one of the most perfect 3 movie arcs ever made, you know? If you do that, then I think you can do just about whatever, and I'm okay with it. I don't have a huge beef. So let's wrap this. Number 1 movie of the year, right?
Yeah.
Like number 1 on our ratings for right now. I know you had maybe struggled a little bit with how you were going to rate it. Did you come to grips like a hand job?
I see what you did there.
Eminem did it first.
Yeah, so I put it number 1 at 4.5 stars.
Me too. I think this could have been the first one, like this or Godzilla -1. If I was going to give stuff 5 stars, would have been it. And I might loosen up on my stance of not giving stuff 5 stars. Because what's the point in saying that like I want to leave room for stuff to be better
If you're never going to put anything.
if you're never going to say anything's better than 4.5 stars, right? Like, and I find it hard pressed that I will find many movies that can hit every single note that you want a movie to hit better than something like this did. That can be as well made, as visually stunning, sound is good, great acting performances with great action. Like it hit every single thing. It's
like, what more could we ask the movie to do? Yeah.
What would have made it more perfect than it was, you know? And that's where I think the 5-star ranking system may also be a little hindering.
Yeah, but you get the half stars, so it's really a 10 slot rating system.
It's still like, I think the scale of 100 is possibly the better way to do some of this stuff.
What, just so you could give it a 95 instead of 100?
97, 98, you know? I just think there's more room for differential there. Because what do we end up with at the end when we see 40 movies in a year? You end up with 25 2-star movies.
True.
You know? But yeah, this is as near perfect as I think you can get. So let us know what you thought out there. Like I would be interested to know if there's anybody who didn't like this. As a person who's been told he's a hater of most things that people love, and I left as high as I am on it, I'd be very interested to know if there are people out there in the world who did not enjoy this, or you know what were some of your gripes on it, or just tell us how much you love it. I would love to talk to some people who loved it, because like there are people who are far more nerdy about this shit than me that I would love to learn from too. So 95% audience, 93 Rotten Tomatoes. Very rarely does that happen, huh?
Yeah.
So with that being said, Dante, I'll ask you,
do you
have it?
Do you have it?
Taste. I have it. I hope you have it.
I might.
I hope you have something this week. Let me start with mine, though, because mine's going to be probably the most drawn out of any of them.
Yeah.
I won't go as crazy as I did last week, because like Dee was asking me stuff about The Ones Who Live. But so episode 2 of The Ones Who Live dropped this week. And again, like another incredible episode. My God, are they doing great work with this show? And, you know, last week I had predicted that this week was going to be solely focused on where Michonne's been for the better part of the gap since we had last seen her on The Walking Dead. And you do get that. You get about 30 minutes of her backstory and where she's been picking up, like with getting 100% of the episode of Rick's backstory in episode 1. You get about 50% of this episode dedicated to the 6 years or so since Michonne left the main group of The Walking Dead and like where she went. Maybe it's not 6 years, like maybe a little less than that. But either way, you find out like she meets a new group. You fall in love with these like characters that she's met, like a couple of them at least. They're really well made. And then they get attacked in a city by chlorine gas. And because they breathe it in and everything, it like destroys their lungs and their body. And they literally are held up in a mall for a year trying to recover from it. With oxygen, like literally like oxygen tanks that they found just sitting there trying to regain their strength because they can't go back out into the world in the condition that they're in. And she's just like, she spent a long time, just her and one other person in a mall recovering. And you watching the seasons go by and watching her struggle with that. And like, that was really cool. And then you pick up after she leaves there with like going to where the last place that they were, that it referenced where Rick might have been, and finding out that like where Rick was is like a capsized, like huge ship liner that like people were living out of, and like all these dead bodies that are stacked up and burned. And she's essentially like Rick at the end of the first episode before he sees Michonne, gives up on the idea of getting back. For the better part of 10 years, he had tried to escape and all of these things, and they finally broke him. And he was just resigned to the fact that, like, this is my life now. This is what I do. And he had moved on. She hits that same wall herself, essentially, and needs to go back to her kids, needs to go back to her community. And they decide to turn around and start going back when they suddenly see the helicopter that was from the people that dropped the chlorine gas on them. And they were like, we're going to take this fucking helicopter down. Like, we're getting back at these guys. And that's where you pick up where the end of the last episode was, with Rick getting shot down in a helicopter. And you see the other perspective of it, which is Michonne and somebody else shooting down this helicopter.
Oh shit.
And you get the reunion scene, you get the full reunion scene, like, that you didn't get in the last episode with them talking and all of this stuff. And now you've picked up on the fact of, like, there's just some great, it's like you have this moment where Michonne's got the person she wants back again, and she can see it's him, but suddenly he gets really afraid because his backup is coming from the community he's from, and he flips into a different person who's afraid and is telling her, like, don't be yourself, don't be assertive, change your name, don't call them walkers, that's what I call them, they can't know that you know me, if they know that you know me, they're going to kill you. You have to pretend, and if you don't pretend well, they're still going to kill you. And she's like seeing a guy who she recognizes and knows is still there, but there's something different. And like you have this weird like thing there, and it happens a couple more times throughout the episode. And then we end with the return of like a very pivotal character, the character who took Rick in the end of The Walking Dead and brought him to this new community. And she basically threatens, because she sees they videotape all their interviewees to bring into the community. So she sees Michonne and she knows her from before. And basically goes to Rick and like, this isn't part of our agreement. And I don't know what you're up to. But she was just like, what are you fucking doing? And if you think that you're going to escape with her and you think that everything's going to be fine, I will come to Alexandria, their community, and we will kill all of your people. And like, you're just left at this like cliffhanger there of like, well, fuck, like he has the woman that he wants back, but did he just get them? He just resigned her to the same fate that he's in, what are they going to do? Because like, if they escape, there's ramifications. If they stay, they're never getting back to their kids. They're never getting back to their friends or anything like that. Like there's no good option really in play. But like the tension, the action, the build up, like the first 2 episodes have been phenomenal. We got like 4 or 5 left. I'm loving it. Loving life right now.
Sounds really good.
It's very good. What do you got?
I got 2 things.
Okay.
The first one, not really a great movie, but I didn't watch much, so I'll throw it in here. It's a movie called Good Time.
Is that Robert Pattinson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
No, I've heard it's really good though, actually.
Really? Okay. It was okay. I don't know if I would say it was really good.
It's weird, right?
Yeah, it is weird. Basically, like the overall story is it's him and his like special needs brother, but he's like a kind of like a lowlife, and I guess his brother got into a whole beef with his mother or grandmother, I forget, and ended up breaking her arm, so he has to go to like these mandatory therapy sessions. And Robert Pattinson's character is just trying to get them like away or something. I don't know. It's a whole series of like fucked up events, but basically he's just going on like a crime spree.
Okay.
So it like starts with them like robbing a bank, and then like the brother gets caught, and then it's him just doing a whole bunch of shit to try and get him out of jail. And it's kind of wild, honestly.
Worth watching, not worth watching? Doesn't
I'm kind of 50-50 on if I would recommend it or not.
Doesn't sound like you're giving it a rec.
No.
Okay.
Not like an absolute must watch, but if you have nothing else, sure.
How do you think Robert Pattinson was in it?
Like, I think his acting was fine.
Yeah.
I don't think it was anything spectacular, but I think it was fine.
Okay. It's been a year or 2 years since the Batman came out.
Yeah.
The anniversary. What was the other thing? Yeah.
This one you have seen because I actually found it on your Vudu.
Sick.
Booksmart.
Incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kaylin Devers, dude.
Yeah.
I've been promoting that movie.
After I watched it, I remember you had told me to watch it, but I ended up finding this on like some list on Letterboxd.
Great chemistry.
Good movie, yeah.
Between the two main characters. Kind of a female Superbad.
It's exactly, yeah.
Yeah, to a point. Olivia Wilde's first directorial debut.
Okay.
But yeah, great, funny movie.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was hilarious. Great character development. Like, I liked it.
I still think you should watch because it's fairly similar to Booksmart. Bottoms. Yeah, I talked about that a few weeks back. It's on. Is it on? It's either on Prime or Hulu.
Okay.
But yeah, Bottoms is really, really good, and it's kind of got that vibe to it.
Check it out.
So I definitely recommend that one. That's anything else you had?
Those were the two.
All right. The only other thing I watched was I finished a whole season of The OC. Show I've watched 9 million times. I generally just watch like the first 2 seasons because I think they're amazing, and then I kind of fall off because, spoiler alert, like they kill off Marissa, and like that kind of takes away some of the third season for me. And then like season 4 is fine, but like, it's a show that like burned bright and then like ended fairly quickly and only made a 4-season run. But it like this and One Tree Hill came out at the same time. The OC, I would say, for the first 2 seasons was the superior show to most people. But One Tree Hill has an 11-season run, where this like there's a bunch of behind the scenes stuff, and like Marissa, her like in real life, I can't remember her name. Doesn't matter. Misha Barton has like all this stuff going on. Like she gets into like, the crazy story. And I think the reason I had started watching it again is she did an interview and she talked about how, they cast in like movies where they have, or TV shows where they have people playing high schoolers. A lot of the times it's people in their 20s.
Yeah.
Playing high schoolers. So basically the 3 of the 4 main cast members of the OC are supposed to be in high school are all in their early to mid 20s. She was the only person who was a teenager. She was 17 when she filmed. And it was like her first like big acting roles. Like you don't know this probably, but she's in The Sixth Sense. Have you seen that movie?
No.
Okay. So like there's the you know what the movie is.
Yeah.
So there's a scene like one of the I See Dead People scenes or whatever in that movie is a girl puking under the bed. That's actually Misha Barton. Like that was one of like her early roles, but that's not like a big thing. Like it was like a very small part in a movie that was a big movie. But this was like her first like major breakthrough role. And she was acting with people who are at like a whole different point in their life. And she actually ends up dating her co-star who's like 24 at the time when she's 17.
Oh, that's illegal.
Yeah. And she just like, I think that like the show was just hard on her. Like she didn't fit in because of the age gap as well with the rest of the actors. And I think it took a toll on her. And it led to like, she's okay with the fact that her character gets killed off because she didn't think that her character should have like a happy ending in that show, because her character is the most chaotic in the show. She goes through like a lot of different stuff from like drug abuse, alcoholism, like, like just shitty thing after shitty thing kind of deal. And it just seemed like the right way for her character to go out was to not live through the whole show. But at the time, it kind of killed the show because it was like kind of she is like a beloved character. And like, you kill off one of the top 4 characters built on the show in the middle of like the end of the 3rd season, basically. And it only got one more year run after that. So I'm probably going to at least watch one more season of it. Because like I said, I love the first 2 seasons.
Like you said, that's 4 seasons?
Yeah.
So is it one of those things where it like got end because it got canceled?
I mean, it does have finality.
Okay.
But I believe it did get like it just, they didn't keep it going. Yeah. And the only other thing I was going to point out, because like, we always talk about stuff we've been watching, but this weekend, just for anybody who is unaware, we have a movie dropping on believe it's Hulu. Ricky Stadicki. Have you heard about this one?
That sounds familiar. I definitely have seen
Promotional
ads
stuff
for it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's Andrew Santino and Zac Efron and John Cena.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. I have seen the trailers for this.
So this movie drops this weekend. Great cast, obviously.
Oh, is that straight to streaming?
Yeah, straight to streaming. And Santino, I love his podcast, Bad Friends. I enjoy it a lot. Zac Efron is great, and like in comedy roles, is been a standout. You know, I think That Awkward Moment, Neighbors. He has the comedic bone in him, and then John Cena. This is like a perfect John Cena role.
Yeah.
This is like his wheelhouse, like the Peacemaker, like making filthy jokes, like the whole way through. It's kind of the perfect role for him. So I'm looking forward to this one. I think it'll be like, it's not going to be an incredible movie, but I think it'll be pretty funny. So
it'll definitely be highly enjoyable.
Yeah, keep an eye out for that one this weekend. I think that's all we got though, right?
Yeah, I got nothing else for the taste test anyways.
Cool. Well, we appreciate you for sticking around, as always. Let us know your thoughts on Dune 2. Let us know what you've been watching out there. If you haven't seen Dune yet, are you going to see it? You're going to wait for streaming release? Like, what's your deal there? Why would you do that? Any of the new stuff? Would you visit Shrek's bunker? What would you marry, fuck, kill? And donate to our GoFundMe, please. And so you can find us, as always, here on YouTube. We are anywhere audio podcasts are provided. Check us out on our socials at For Those of Good Taste on Instagram, at Good Taste Live on X, at FTWGT on TikTok, and Dante, you?
Dirty Water ENT on YouTube, Dirty Water _ENT on Twitch and Instagram.
And until next week, ladies, gentlemen, tasties, tastettes, we bid you fale adieu. Oh, bang, bang.
Ski, ski.
For those with good taste.